So tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is John Massaro, and I started Inaugural Travel for the purpose of bringing people to North Korea. Nobody has ever done that, and I think some people, before I embark on something like this, I think it's a pretty good idea for people to take a look at me and, let me tell you a little bit about myself, and hopefully you'll feel comfortable with me. But let me just explain. Look, what's today's date? August 3rd, 2014. My little sister has come out to our dad's house here in New York, and who was it, me or you that came up with this idea? I think it was me. Anyway, she's going to, and she tells me this whole thing has to be edited, but we're going to keep it the way it is, warts and all. And she is going to throw some questions at me that I have no idea what she's going to ask me about. I just told her to ask me some questions about North Korea. But I'm going to surprise you right now. I'm going to ask you, when I was in China last year, when I came back from North Korea, I sent you an email. Do you remember what the line on the email was?
No.
Safely back in China. Well, let me ask you something. I've never asked you this before. Were you or anybody in our family worried about me while I was in North Korea?
No.
No? I think Dad was a little bit.
Really?
He didn't want me to go there. And when I sent you that email, I still remember it from the hotel in Beijing. I tagged it safely back in China, and I wanted to make up a story about how I was almost detained there, disappeared there, got in trouble there, but I just didn't have the heart to do it because I was treated so well, and that's what I want to get across in this little interview we're doing here. All right, so what do you want to ask me now?
You're doing most of the talking.
Don't make faces at me, okay? I know this. I'm not.
You're not letting me out. Okay. I'm going to start.
No, don't start it. No, keep it the way it's going. Because, like I said, it's going to be warts and all. So don't stop it. Just ask me what you want to ask me.
How did you get interested in North Korea?
As you know, I've always been obsessed with places that are very difficult to travel to. Do you remember, by the way, that I was one of the first? I might have been in the very first group of Americans that went to Albania in 1991, I think it was. The country, like North Korea is now, Albania was just one of those places where if you were American, there was no way in the world you could get in there. And they changed. I mean, they got, who was the leader there? Enver Hoxha or something like that. He died, I think, and they started changing their policy. You know what it is with me. I'm just obsessed about places that are that everybody thinks of as a little strange and that are very difficult and a long way from home to go to. So that's.
So what prompted you to first think, I want to go there?
Well, I found out a few years ago that I was amazed. It was in January of 2010 that they changed their policy and started allowing Americans in. And Americans are subject to some restrictions that others are not. For example, we have to fly in. Don't ask me why. They just come up with these rules and we just have to go along with them. But I think it's amazing, after all these years, since the end of the Korean War, that things are finally changing. And from all appearance, from being there last year, I would say Americans, as long as you respect them and follow their rules, obey their laws, there's just absolutely no problems going there.
So what can somebody expect to experience when they go to North Korea?
Well, maybe I should have told you beforehand. I do explain some of these things on my website. I've done a lot of writing, maybe too much, I don't know. What can they expect? That's a very vague question. I think, there seems to be two kinds of people in this world. So people that are, how would I put this? That have emotions, that are going to be moved and touched by the way they're treated there, and other ones that are just kind of mechanical and just, I don't know. The kind of person I think that would go to North Korea would be something like me. I mean, just kind of, it's just like a call of the remote and the forbidden and the mysterious, and something in me said, I just have to see this place. And I know most people don't feel that way. I mean, I remember a few people I've spoken to. The first question is, why would you go to North Korea? Those kind of people. I'm never going to. I don't want them to come with me. They wouldn't come with me. They wouldn't go there in the first place. So I'm not really concerned. It's just people that have something in their genes that makes them just want to go to places like this, and that's the best way I can explain it. So.
What was the craziest thing that happened to you when you were there?
Nothing crazy happened. I would say.
What about the dog soup?
The dog soup? I don't think that's so crazy. They had that in Vietnam. You know, I'll try everything once. You know that. I'll try everything except human flesh. And I felt, a straw was looking down at us from heaven, saying, how could you? But I have to tell you, there was only, well, let me see, we were 19 people in my group. Only I tried it and 2 other people tried it, and we got some pretty nasty looks from the other people. But I'll tell you this, it didn't taste bad.
Like chicken?
No, it was kind of unique. It was dark meat. It was dark. It was red, but it was mild. It had a nice taste to it. So, people, I don't know. I'm going to turn a lot of people up by admitting that, but you said crazy. The one thing, if not a single, this certainly doesn't rate as crazy, but the only little tiny moment I had was at the DMZ. I was looking for the men's room at the museum, and I started walking the wrong way. And there were soldiers there, but it's a pretty easygoing place. I mean, it's the hottest border in the world, but there's no fears about going there. And I walked the wrong way, and I hear this guy loudly blow a whistle. A soldier there, just go like this, just sweep with his hand, like gesturing to me, turn around and go the other way. That's like I said, that doesn't even rate as crazy, but that was the only thing I did wrong. Let's put it that way.
So what are the rules?
I thought you were going to ask me better questions than this, but go ahead. Don't make that face. She's my sister, everybody. We can bounce things back and forth like this, but go ahead. Nice face there.
You're welcome. What do you want people to know?
What do I want them to know?
I think you have to put people's fears at ease. So what?
Well, I think that, like, you haven't read, I'm doing a lot of writing on this site, and once they read that, I think they should feel very much at ease, I would think. My fear is taking people there that, you just get, for example, the heaviest part is seeing Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, seeing their bodies at the Kum Susan Palace, the mausoleum. I mean, you have to just, not an expression on your face, walk straight ahead, do as you're told, and if somebody just so much as giggles, I mean, I think that would create an international incident, I mean, you just really have to be, just make sure I'm afraid of bringing someone who's a jerk, okay? Somebody who'll do something really stupid and making a scene. I mean, if you're mature and you could follow instructions, nothing's going to happen.
So what do you get out of going there? What's the reward?
What's the reward? The reward is being one of the very, very few. I don't know the exact number. My educated guess is about 1,500, maybe 2,000 at most people, Americans that have been there. Just to be one, that makes us one, maybe two, I don't know, 3 or 4 out of 1 million. Something very, very, very few people have done and are willing to do. And yet, as I say, I'll say it over and over again. I've been to 91 countries, and if you follow the rules, there's no safer place in the world to travel to. And it's the truth. Despite what the image, North Korea has that you would get from the media. So.
Tell us a little bit about the people.
The people were just absolutely wonderful. Well, I mean, the people you deal with, the people in the tourist industry, in the hotels, the restaurants, just absolutely wonderful. Polite all the time, always obliging, never objecting if you wanted to take their picture. Just the ordinary people. Of course, you're not allowed, unless it's planned in advance. You're not allowed to go up to them and speak to them. You just can't do that. That's one of the rules you have to follow. But you can just tell they're very, very. I was very moved because you can see how curious.